Anything that saves me time and effort in the kitchen immediately gets my attention. That's why I started experimenting with this hand mixer, and these 6 simple tricks are so useful that I know I'll be using them for the rest of my life. A hand mixer and chicken might sound like two things that have absolutely nothing to do with each other. But if you love homemade shredded chicken and hate spending forever pulling it apart by hand, these two are actually a perfect match. Normally, after cooking the chicken until tender, you'd wait for it to cool and then start shredding it piece by piece. Your hands quickly get tired and it takes much longer than you'd expect. So try this instead. Place your fully cooked food into a large bowl. While it's still warm, take your hand mixer and start running the beaters through the meat on a low setting. Look what happens. Within seconds, those large pieces begin separating into thin strands. Something that would normally take several minutes by hand happens almost automatically. But there's one little problem. Look around the bowl. Tiny pieces of chicken can fly out as the beaters spin, especially if you start too quickly. Luckily, there's a simple solution. Take a sheet of plastic wrap and stretch it securely over the top of the bowl. Using a knife carefully, make a small opening in the center just wide enough for the mixer beaters to pass through. Now start again on a low speed. This time, look at the difference. The beaters are still pulling the chicken apart quickly, but the plastic wrap acts like a splash guard. Any little pieces that would normally fly out hit the covering and fall straight back into the bowl. Keep moving the mixer around until all the larger chunks have disappeared and the chicken reaches the texture you want. Then turn the mixer off before lifting the beaters. Now peel away the plastic wrap. Look underneath it. All those tiny pieces that could have ended up on your countertop were caught right there. And look at our chicken. It's completely shredded into fine, fluffy strands without sitting there pulling apart every piece by hand. If you're making chicken floss, we're already halfway there. And because the hand mixer already did the hardest part, the entire process feels much easier. Have you ever used your hand mixer to shred chicken before? If not, would you try this trick after seeing how quickly it works? Whipping egg whites may sound simple, but holding a hand mixer in the same position for several minutes can get pretty tiring. So here's a simple idea that lets you go completely hands-free while using your hand mixer. First, remove the beaters. Then, place an oven rack over the bowl and reattach the beaters through the rack, just as shown in the video. Next, use a pack of paper towels as a support behind the mixer to help keep the body balanced and stable. Now simply turn the mixer on. It will stay in position and do the work for you, so you don't have to hold the heavy mixer in your hand for several minutes. While it's mixing, stay nearby and use those few minutes to wipe down the counter, put away ingredients, or prepare the next step of your recipe. After a little while, turn off the mixer and take a look at the result. The runny egg whites have transformed into a thick, fluffy foam with beautiful peaks, and you didn't have to hold the mixer the entire time. Now they're ready for whatever you'd like to make. I'm going to use mine to make a wonderfully light and fluffy egg dish. Would this hands-free mixer setup make baking easier for you? Let me know in the comments. Next, another job I used to do, completely by hand, mixing ground meat with seasonings. I have a bowl of ground meat here, and I want to keep the seasoning simple: a little salt, some black pepper, and a pinch of chili powder. Normally, I would just put my hands straight into the bowl and start mixing. Then I realized my hand mixer already had the perfect attachment for this job. Use the dough hooks and mix on low speed. Look how easily everything begins to come together. The hooks move through the ground meat, distributing the salt, pepper, and chili powder without you having to knead everything with your fingers. Move the mixer gently around the bowl and stop as soon as the seasonings are evenly incorporated. There's no need to overmix, since that can make the cooked meat denser and tougher. Now take a look. You can already see that the seasoning has been distributed throughout the meat. Quick, evenly mixed, and most importantly, my hands stayed clean. Now it's ready to shape into meatballs, burger patties, or whatever we're cooking next. Here's a quick breakfast idea that's a little different: whipped egg cream served with bread. Start by adding 2 egg yolks to a tall cup. Add a little sugar depending on how sweet you like it, followed by just a tiny pinch of salt to balance the flavor. Now here's the trick. Instead of attaching both beaters to your hand mixer, use just one beater, but only if your particular mixer is designed to operate safely that way. Place it deep inside the cup before switching the machine on so the mixture doesn't splash everywhere. Start whipping. Little by little, the mixture becomes paler, thicker, and much fluffier as air is incorporated. Once it reaches a light yellow color with a creamy, airy consistency, that's exactly where I want it. Look at this texture. It's so thick that when I carefully tilt the cup, it barely moves. And now, breakfast is ready. Take a piece of warm, crispy toast, dip it into that sweet, rich egg cream, and enjoy. And on those mornings when you're in a hurry, it's especially convenient. 1 cup, 1 beater, and just a few minutes of preparation. And here's one final use for your hand mixer that has absolutely nothing to do with food. You open a drawer looking for a piece of string, only to find a tangled mess. You pull on one end, another knot appears, and suddenly you're spending several minutes untangling something that should have taken only a few seconds to grab. Take an empty toilet paper roll and slide it over one of the beaters. Next, wrap the string around the cardboard roll a few times by hand to secure the end in place. Now simply turn the mixer on at low speed. Look at that, the cardboard roll begins to spin, automatically winding the string neatly around it. In just a few seconds, the entire length of string is rolled up with hardly any effort from you. Turn off the mixer, remove the finished roll, and repeat the same process with the rest of your string. And here's the result. What used to be a tangled mess is now separated into neat individual rolls that are much easier to store. Now put everything back into the drawer. Instead of several loose pieces twisting and tangling together, each one has its own little roll. And those are my 6 hand mixer ideas for today. Which one surprised you the most? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed these tips, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.